Students, today we're going to go over the even problems on page 471. So after you've viewed the video, then I want you to take your chapter 8 test. Okay, so remember our important formulas were slope, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Careful with your signs. We wrote equations of lines using y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and we graphed equations. So let's get started. Number 2. Gives us the sequence 2, 7, 12, and 17, and asks us what the 10th term is and what is the equation. So when we did this, we made a table. So our first term is 2, and our second term is 7, and our third term is 12. Our fourth term is 17. And then looking from 2 to 7, 7 to 12, 12 to 17, I see that there's a difference of 5 there. So I know my formula involves a 5. But if I take 5 times 1, I don't get 2. And if I do 5 times 2, I don't get 7. So what do I need to do to those numbers to get 2 and 7? So 5 times 1 is 5. To get to a 2, I need to subtract 3. So I'll check that with the second term. 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 minus 3 is 7. So this would be our equation. And then to find our 10th term, I'll just substitute a 10 in. And I get 47. Okay, number 4. Number 4 asks us to find 4 solutions for the equation. So, when we did these problems, we made a table of values, and it doesn't matter what we choose for x. I generally chose -1, 0, 1, and 2. Number 4's equation is y equals x plus 7. And then I'll find my ordered pairs. And these will be my solutions. So when I put a -1 in for x and add 7, I get 6. So my ordered pair is -1, 6. When I put a 0 in and add 7, I get 7. So my ordered pair is 0, 7. When I substitute a 1 in, 1 plus 7 is 8. So my ordered pair is 1, 8. When I substitute a 2 in, 2 plus 7 is 9. So my ordered pair is 2, 9. These would be my solutions. Number 6 wants me to graph and wants me to do it by plotting points. So my equation is y equals x minus 6. We really only need 2 points, but once again, when we did these, we generally picked the points -1, 0, 1, and 2. My equation is x minus 6, so I'll say -1 minus 6, and that gives me -7. So my ordered pair is -1, -7. Then when I put a 0 in minus 6, I get -6. So 0, -6. When I put a 1 in minus 6, I get -5. 1, -5. And when I put a 2 in minus 6, I get -4. 2, -4. And then I can draw my line. Remember when you make your lines to put arrows on the end. Number 8. On number 8, it's a word type problem, but they're asking for the rate of change. And rate of change is just your slope. I'm going to use the points 2, 4 that I see and 5, 10. So I'm going to subtract the 10 and the 4, and then the 5 and the 2. Subtracting 10 minus 4, I get 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. When I divide 6 by 3, I get a rate of change of 2. Number 10 wants me to find the slope and the y-intercept and then to graph it. On this one, I have 4x plus 3y is equal to 6. I need y equals mx plus b. So I got to get y by itself, which means I'm going to subtract the 4x over. 3y equals, I can't really subtract that, so I just write negative 4x plus 6. Divide by 3. And I get my equation. Y equals negative 4/3 x plus 2. So my slope is negative 4/3 and my y-intercept is 2. So let's graph that. So continuing with number 10, if I have y equals negative 4/3 x plus 2, I begin with the 2. And then I let my slope of negative 4/3 move me. It's going to move me down 4 because it's negative and right 3. So from here I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 3, putting my next point there. And making my line. All right, number 12 is another word problem. It says a stylist earns $10 an hour. So writing the important stuff down, information, I would have $10 per hour. And $3 per haircut. And they want me to write an equation for her hourly earnings. So for an hour, she's just going to make this $10, but she's going to get $3 for every cut she does in that hour. So if I let x equal the haircuts and y be her earnings, then it would be y is equal to 3x plus 10, and that goes with letter F. Number 14. On number 14, we want to find the slope, and so we have the point 8, 5, and 7, 9. So I'll use my slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then label these if you need to. This is x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2. So I would say 9 minus 5 over 7 minus 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. 7 minus 8 is negative 1, so we got a slope of negative 4. And that's all it asks us to do. Number 16. 16 says the table shows the attendance for a jazz festival, and they want us to make a scatter plot and draw a line of best fit. Use the line to predict the jazz festival attendance for 2014. Let me turn the page so we'll have more room. On a scatter plot, we really just need the first quadrant. So I have 2008 to start with and 1400 to start with. So when we don't start at 0, we can put breaks in the graph. So I want to do that and start here at 2008 2009, 2010, 2011, 12, 13, 14, and this is the one that we're wanting to predict about. And then I'm going to start here with 1400, and I'm going to go by hundreds. So 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900. And then I plot the points. So in 2008, 1400. In 2009, 1520. So if I'm going by hundreds, that would just be a little bit over that. 1650, a little bit over that. And then 2011 is 1740. So it doesn't make a perfect line. So when I draw my line, I try to pick up at least 2 points. I've picked up this point and this point. So I'm going to use the point 2008 and 1400 as my first point, and 2010 and 1650 is my second point, and I'll find my slope. So I'll say 1650 minus 1400 over 2010 minus 2008. That's going to give me 250 over 2. So my slope is 125. So, and then I could find my y-intercept by using this as my first point and this is my second point, or knowing that my slope means that the people are increasing at a rate of 125 each year, approximately. So I could do 1740, add 125, and that would be for 2012. Add 125 again. And that would be for 2013. So that's 1990, and add 125 again. And I would have approximately that many. Okay, and depending on which pair of points you picked up, it could be, there's a range of answers that would work there. Okay, on number 18. 18, they want us to solve by graphing. So I'm going to graph y equal x and y equal 2x minus 1. Here my slope is 1 and my y-intercept is 0. On this one, my slope is 2 and my y-intercept is -1. It's really important on this one to use graph paper and a ruler, so I may be a little off on the answer. So the first one, I'll graph it in blue. My y-intercept is 0, so I'll start there. And if a slope is 1, that means up 1 and over 1, and I'll make my line. Now I'll graph the red one. So I got a slope of -1 and a slope of, a y-intercept of -1 and a slope of 2. So I go up 2 and over 1 and graph, and it's easy to see that there is the intersection point, 1, 1. And that would be my final answer. And then our last one, number 20. On number 20, I'm solving by substitution, and I have y equals 2x minus 5 and y equals -1. So where I have a y, I'm going to substitute a -1 and solve for x. And we've solved all year long. I'm going to add 5 because that's the inverse of subtracting. -1 and 5 is 4. I'm going to divide by 2, and x is equal to 2. And that would be my final answer. So if I did that ordered pair, 2, comma, negative 1. Okay, if you have any questions about odd problems that I didn't get to go over, then you can email me and I'll be happy to. There is a problem that we didn't get a practice that I'm going to do. Back on number 14, they asked for slope, but let's look and see what we would get if they asked for the equation of the line. Because that was something else we did in this chapter. So after finding slope, which was 9 minus 5 over 7 minus 8, 4 over negative 1 is negative 4. Then I use the formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Here's my x1 and my y1. So I'll say y minus 5 equals, I found a slope of negative 4, x minus 8. I'm going to distribute that negative 4, and I would have y minus 5 equals negative 4x plus 32. Now I'm going to get y by itself, so I'm going to add 5 over here to its like term. And my final answer is y equals negative 4x plus 37. So we had a few problems in homework where we were writing equations of lines. Okay, that should be a good example of each type of problem in this chapter. Look over the video, look over your chapter review, email me any questions, and then your test is going to be your assignment 7. Good luck on it. Make sure you show me all your work.